Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and it's Thursday night, so that means this is Dawnbringers, The Forge of Fury, Season 2, Episode 6, and I'm trying to remember what I entitled this episode, The Grick and the Dead. Hopefully, everybody will get a good reminder of why that title is what it is during the recap. Quick couple of announcements before we get going. We're gonna turn a couple things back on since there we go. Last week we played a Quest Givers adventure. Hey, thank you Quinian BC for the bits. 300 more bits and we will be at another domain die. Last week we played a Quest Givers adventure while Scotty was gone. And we were down Scotty for a couple weeks. Unfortunately, Megan is a little under the weather and will not be with us tonight. But we have her blessing to try our best not to kill Fig tonight. So we'll see how that goes. But we will be continuing with the Forge of Fury adventure tonight. Just a couple quick announcements. You can see the information about the domain dice down at the bottom. Even during the Quest Givers game last night, lots of people were dropping bits not last night. And you can see these guys are up to 33 domain dice. So there should be no hesitation to use domain dice. You are flush with these things. Another quick announcement. I am wearing a t-shirt. I've worn it on stream once before. This t-shirt is available on the, I don't remember the exact store name, but I'm going to send you a link in the chat right now to Mr. Tarask on YouTube. He does a lot of good D&D and RPG informational videos and reviews and things like that. And so, holy cow. Miamorpha just subscribed with a tier 3 subscription. So I need everybody to hold on to your butts. Thank you, Miamorpha. That is so awesome. Thank you for supporting the channel and supporting the players because they need more domain dice. So you guys, I'm gonna just hold on a minute as I take away these three right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get rid of this. But now you're up to 30. Where'd it go? 30. There it is. 6. That's 3 domain dice from a tier 3 subscription. So thank you so much. That means Miamorpha has access to all 4 of the emotes that are available on MTD right now in the chat. So again, huge thank you, Miamorpha, for that support. We greatly appreciate it. But as I was saying, Mr. Tarask, this is a full disclosure. Mr. Tarask sent me this shirt. I chose the cleric, but he has them for a lot of different classes. Ironically, he does not have a dungeon master one, or I would have chosen that one. But cleric is my favorite class. So follow the link and you can head over and check out Mr. Tarask on YouTube. He's even got his own giveaways going on. I think he was recently doing a giveaway over there. So head over to YouTube. Of course, wait until after the Forge of Fury tonight and go over and check that out. One more quick plug before we get going towards the game here. I am currently doing a giveaway as I make a drive towards 10,000 subscribers. You guys aren't even rolling dice yet, and they just keep coming in. Finishing out that 500 bits and just one extra one for measure, Quinian BC dropping another 301 bits. Thank you so much. I want to see you guys burning through these things. You should be practically immortal at this point. The blessing of the Domain Dice patron rests upon your shoulders tonight. So yeah.
So can we just re-roll for the heck of it at this point in time?
So yeah, check out that link for the giveaway. I am giving away, you can actually see them right here behind me, 3 Game Masters bundles. They include a D&D 5th edition starter set with the Lost Mines of Phandelver adventure and 5 pre-gens that come with it, as well as a set of dice. In addition to that, you will get 6 more complete sets of dice. That's 42 more dice for a total of 48 dice. A set of 6 miniatures that match the starter set pre-gens. And one lucky winner will get all of that, plus a player's handbook, monster manual, dungeon master's guide, and dungeon master screen reincarnated. Absolutely free. All you do is got to follow the link, and there's a bunch of things you can do to earn more entries. The drawing is coming ever closer in just a hair over a month. April 16th, my 46th birthday. I'm celebrating my birthday by giving you gifts. All right, I think I blabbered on enough. We are going to go ahead and we are going to get into the Forge of Fury, episode 6, the Grick and the Dead. Does anybody, it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since we've played this game. Does anybody want to attempt?
I remember Sturges, right?
Yeah, there were some Sturges.
Yeah, I remember those. Remember we went wandering, tried to convince them going up through the stream area. That got nixed. We went down a different path, and then we went into like this land of spores, essentially, where we were finding some armor and stuff, but of mold spores kept flying around, and certain summons were okay, other certain summons not so much. And then something about ending up in like a tomb-esque type place, and Griveth having a conniption because everyone kind of split and he didn't know who to protect. That's truly all I vaguely remember.
I remember looking at, finishing with the dwarven tombs. Sorry, I always screw that word up. And the gamer in me and the role playing religious dwarf in me totally at odds of like, you got to open them up and see what's there. And the religious like, no, you can't touch dwarven crypts. Come on, man, sacrilege.
Yeah. Who remembers what Fig encountered right at the cliffhanger ending?
Yeah, there was a monster.
Oh, that's
what
right.
What was it?
Fig faced a
Grick?
Yeah, I'm hoping by the title.
A Grick?
Oh, right.
Wasn't it 2?
Okay, multiple.
2
ones.
Gricks?
Okay, multiple ones. I think.
Crap.
So, excellent.
Frick on the Gricks.
I don't know if we know that though. Like if our characters know that.
I'm going to give you, the option. You can each take a point of inspiration, except Jeremy. He contributed nothing to that recap.
You are absolutely correct.
Or you can all chip them in, and I will give you 1 more domain die.
Can we take away a Grick?
I'm not going to take away a Grick. So you can have 1 more domain die, or you can each take a point of inspiration.
I'll raise you a domain die. Die for a Grick.
My question on the inspiration, like, do these stack, or like, is it use it that session or lose it?
They stack.
Okay, because I have 3 on my sheet, so I'll allow V and Scotty to each take an.
Scotty's already voted for the domain die.
Oh.
How do you feel, V?
But if you guys want to do the inspiration, that's fine too.
I don't care.
All right. Well, so V and I are in the don't care pile. So DM Scotty says, make it be a domain die.
That way anybody can use it. That way anybody.
All right.
We can blame Scotty later. I'm kidding.
So you guys are up to 38 domain dice.
Holy crick!
So yes, you had absolutely. And I'm going to bring up the map screen, which I still don't have you guys in here yet. But as I was explaining to the players, I'm going to be doing some update to the stream element stuff here in the next few weeks. So we'll get this sorted out. But if you look in this middle section, you guys are in this big middle area that I continue to move my mouse around and you can't see. I need like a little overlay that's a pointer. You're in this big center section, and that over to the right, it looks like a chicken head kind of reaching up towards the sky. that is a ledge that down into the area here. That's where Fig was kind of moving along that area. If I remember correctly, Griveth is sort of in the middle. And Fig had just seen some debris had kind of clattered down onto his shoulders, and he looked up and he saw the peering over the edge. He saw a couple of beaked faces with 4 tentacles kind of coming out from around them, and as they were peering down at Fig, 2 more larger tentacles reached out around the 2 smaller monsters, and a larger beaked head peered over top of them. And as they lunged toward Fig, that was where we ended. Meanwhile, all the way over in that left-hand side, there are 23 Dwarven Sarcophagi, 3 of which, just since it's been a few weeks since we played. I almost restarted the opening titles. I'm gonna remind you about these about what these are. Okay, so in this area, what you saw was the 23, and this is Talmud and Thorgarn are up here in this dwarven sort of mausoleum or crypt. 23 sepulchers are here. The lids are carved in the likeness of grim dwarves in armor. Dwarven runes on the front of each of the tombs appear to represent the names of the occupant or the intended occupants. 3 of the stone coffins have additional runes carved into them, which, of course, Thorgarn and Talmud, being proficient in the dwarven language, they record the occupant's date of death, and the great deeds the dwarf performed in life. Also carved into these 3 coffins is a warning that doom awaits any who dare to defile the honorable dead. The names on these 3 sepulchers are those of Borgol the Old, Garin Orc Doom, and Numik the Unlucky. So, with Griveth in sort of the center of this cavern, of this area known as the Glitterhaim, you and the other 2 of you off on the side. Actually, I don't remember where Cantriel, I think you were in the middle.
The opposite direction of Fig to see what Griveth would
Yeah,
do.
because I if I remember correctly, I'm like, wait, where's Cantriel?
Cantriel's like, okay, Fig's going that way, I'm going this way.
Yeah, so I'm going to take a look at the map screen again real quick. Since it has been a while, we need to get a bit of a refresher here. Okay, so there is that opening that there is kind of to the south. There is another little rise. Wait. Griveth, did you go over to the door? You went to the east to the iron door, didn't you?
You mean where Fig is?
It was kind of east of Fig, so
Oh.
If only there was some kind of digital record that we could reference.
yeah.
Yeah, right? Then go back and watch.
Hold on a minute, we're going to go back and watch. I think
Yeah, that would be so. I don't believe I did.
I do remember something about
Was
someone being in an iron door. But
it was either Griveth or it was Cantriel that
I
went
think
to the
that
iron
was
door.
me.
Okay. I
Oh,
knew
was it?
somebody
Okay.
did because we
I was gonna
had
say, I didn't think I did, but
The door's sounding familiar because you're like, and while you head towards the door, you use Fig, and then you went to the Gricks.
Yeah, so so that is yeah, you, just as a reminder, Cantriel, cut into the cavern wall is a small but strong looking door of iron plates about 5 feet tall and 4 feet wide. Heavy rivets stud its surface, and a tarnished silver rune Durgadin Smith mark gleams on the door's rusted face. And you guys have already seen Durgadin Smith's mark because when you were in that area with the golden mold, Talmud had recovered one of these blades of Durgadin's blades, and it had his Smith's mark in it. So as you are all kind of spread out throughout this cavern that's over 100 feet wide, you hear this sudden commotion coming from the area to that north where that overhang is. You hear Fig just say, "Oh, friends, we appear to have..." And that's all that is heard as something strikes Fig. You hear the sound of the wood and metal that Fig is comprised of as it lands heavily against the floor and sort of clatters along. And all of you would hear this. So if you immediately turn toward this sound, you would see these creatures, these sort of serpentine bodies with these beaked faces with tentacles spewing out from them, spreading out from them, as two of these creatures sort of slither down that wall, and you see a larger one lurking high on the up on the precipice. I would like everybody to roll for initiative, because that's how you should start a game when you're away for a month, with an initiative roll. And I'm gonna roll for mine as well. Is a, okay, let's see. Oh, Scott. Oh, that is. All right. Griveth, what'd you get?
8 for me.
And Talmud.
A 9.
Ow.
Thorgarn.
5.
Cantriel.
5.
Holy.
Well, the Gricks go at a 12. They eat Fig, and we end the game there.
What? Can you see my sheet? I'm not even kidding. The two Gricks rolled a 12.
Okay, Ted, you're buying a lottery ticket when we're done?
Okay, so here is your batting order since you know the enemy combatants. First in line is the two smaller Gricks. Next up is Talmud, what's your dex? Mod.
Sorry, I was taking notes on the initiative. My dex mod is a 2.
All right, so the big Grick is going to go second. Talmud, you are third. Griveth, you are fourth. Thorgarn and Cantriel. Cantriel, what's your dex mod?
3.
And Thorgarn?
1.
All right, so Cantriel, you will be fifth, and Thorgarn, you will be sixth. So, you see, turning and looking, Griveth, with you kind of being out in that middle area, as you look, immediately hearing the sound, you see as Fig is knocked flying backwards, you see his limbs sort of fold in on themselves, and whether it's a malfunction, whether it's a mode of preservation, perhaps, as an aside, a bit of DM fiat, or the fact that Fig's head has become detached and has rolled and landed at your feet, Fig's body has folded into a cube about 2 foot on a side and sort of comes teetering about maybe 20 feet away from you, but Fig's head sort of, which is more or less spherical, but sort of comes rocking across the ground, clattering off of the debris, and stops about 5 feet from you, rolling to look up at you as you hear Fig's words, "Uh-oh," and then the light goes dim. So, the two Gricks, I see what you did, Jeremy. The two Grick heads, they sort of slither down the the roughly 10-foot high embankment that's in this cavern, as you watch as these things just sort of like I said, they sort of slither down the wall and come into the cavern. The big one sort of just leans itself over and using its tentacles and its serpent-like body sort of just in one motion, and you hear its heavy weight as it moves into position. The other two sort of looking around. One of them begins to move towards you, Cantriel. The other one begins to move off towards the western edge of the cavern, and the big one is moving towards you, Griveth. But they're only about able, with their movement down the cliffside, they're able to get about 20 feet. So I would say they're still probably a good 30. The big one's about 30 feet from you, Griveth. Talmud, you're up. You and Thorgarn are quite a ways away off in the sort of tomb area, but you have a clear view to this scene that is unfolding before you.
Weren't we on like another part of a rise or something?
Yes. So again, I'll flip back over here so you can see this.
Is it to the south?
You're over here to the west.
I can't see. Oh, okay. Oh, I see where the sarcophagi are.
Yep,
okay.
where the sarcophagi are. It sort of rises. There was a set of stairs that lead up to it.
Yeah.
That is an open area that you could directly access with a 10-foot climb or jump.
Okay. And they're at the door?
So if
Kind
you...
of in the east?
One is moving towards the east. The big one's moving towards the middle. And the small one appears to be moving towards you. Your general direction. Though with it being so far away, it's hard to tell.
Okay. So I'm assuming pretty much all I'm going to be able to do is probably dash this round. So kind of leaping off. Well, maybe there are stairs. I'll take the stairs.
Okay, yeah. So with a dash, I'll say that you can make it to... Your speed is 25?
That should be right, yeah. Oh, no, 35 because fifth level barbarian.
All right, that's going to get you to the bottom of the stairs.
Ooh, got them Scooby-Doo legs.
All right, so that's going to be your turn. Griveth, 30 feet away from you is this large Grick.
All right. The poor Fig's head comes like ding ding ding, near me, and I look down for a second, and I look. I assume I saw this whole box thing, right, where she just kind of closed up.
Oh yeah,
box,
you completely saw as she was her body was sort of bouncing along. You watch as it sort of, with each bounce, it sort of folds in on itself.
And I say, "Hey, Dawnbringers, I think they broke your toy."
Nice.
So I'm like, I'm ready. I got the shield. I'm like, ching, ching, like banging my sword on it, getting ready to fight. And maybe I'll cast a spell. Spell. Let's see here. No, I'm gonna hold off. So I'm gonna hold my action to just hit one when it gets near me.
Are you okay? So you're gonna wait until one gets within range, and then strike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm gonna stand fast, hold fast.
Okay.
Is there any way, like, did the one going to Cantriel have like a wide berth around me? It didn't try to come past me or anything?
They were far enough across the cavern from you to not come anywhere near you.
Okay, that's what I figured, but thought it was. Okay.
Yep. So
right,
then that is going to take us to Cantriel. I'm going to say that I'm going to look at the map again for reference. So if you're at the door, yeah, this thing is probably 15 feet away from you.
Okay. So it can't take an attack of opportunity, right? Too far?
Yeah, it hasn't. I mean, it hasn't come to engage with you yet.
Right. All right, then I'm going to fall back as far as I can. So that's...
Well, you're already up against the eastern
Oh, I'm
wall.
up against the wall?
So you could move south along the wall. So you're in this little alcove.
Okay. Then...
This thing is 15 feet away from you.
Then I'm just going to shoot it with my bow.
Okay, because you would have to, and I'll show you the map just to, again, so you can get the sense of this. Because it's a little alcove, you would have to step out. You're all the way to the right there. You'd have to step out about 5 feet to move down along the southern edge.
Yeah, I'll use my bow then.
Perfect.
We'll shoot at it. Oh, hold on. And then I write that down because I also have those nifty little new arrows, which I thought I wrote down somewhere. No, you know, I'm going to save those. All right. Does a dirty 20 hit?
Without even looking, I'm going to say yes.
Cool.
Now that I've looked, I'm going to confirm yes.
Yes. That's 6
There's
points
not much that a dirty 20 doesn't hit.
6 points piercing.
All right, your arrow finds its mark. This thing, these smaller ones are roughly human-sized, but with a serpent body and this beak-like head with these tentacles coming around it. So there's a lot of mass to strike at. You do 6 points of piercing. Anything else?
Who's after me?
You're 5th level. You only have one attack, don't you?
Yeah, I only have one attack and I split, so I have the...
Yep, that's right. You're 5th
So-
level, but you're only
Yeah, only four.
one level of
Four and one.
ranger.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Yep. No, I think I'm gonna just leave it at that.
All right, you're gonna hold your ground.
That or get eaten by a Grick.
So that is gonna then take us to Thorgarn.
All right. So you said something about being able to jump across or jump down.
If you went straight, you could make a 10-foot jump down, and that would get you into the room, and you would be able to move in a straight line towards one of these things.
All right. So would that be leading me towards where Griveth and Fig's quote unquote body would be, or would that take me back towards Cantriel?
Both,
Okay.
because Griveth is sort of the Griveth Fig situation. That is what we're going to call it. The Griveth Fig situation is sort of along the southern central edge of the cavern.
All right.
Um,
I would be wanting to go towards Fig. He has become Thorgarn's fast friend, and the fact of Griveth yelling, your toy got broke. He's going to understand what that means, and he's not really going to be happy about it. So, life and limb is not as not as much a concern as getting to her or getting to him. Sorry, Megan's the her. So what kind of check do you want from me?
if you're going to leap, I want an athletics check.
All right. Well, I'm going to use one of those domain die and
Try that again.
Get rid of this natural 1.
Oh,
And I will replace that with an 18 on the die. So that makes it a 24.
Thorgarn just takes 2 strides and without even thinking, just leaps off the edge, hits the ground with just a quick thump of his. Remind me, you have a war. I forget what your weapons are.
War pick and warhammer.
Yeah, so just like your weapons just sort of clang for a moment as you just get that momentary hero 3-point pose as you land and immediately keep moving. So you're able, if you do a straight move, you can get 20 feet in and you're still going to be
I will do all out move for my action.
Are you moving to Fig and Griveth or to the big Grick?
Towards Fig and Griveth.
All right, with a full dash, and your movement's what?
35.
Oh yeah, you guys are the same thing. Yeah, that's gonna get you to them. You're gonna just get to them.
All right. So once I hero point land, I pull out my weapons en route,
All right,
and that ends me.
we are back to the top of the order, and the one Grick that had been moving along to the west, along that upper edge, and seemed like it was making its way towards where the dwarves and the sepulchres were. Seeing that everybody's now sort of congregating, it looks to be moving around almost in a flank move. And it's not going to make it to you. But the big one is going to move in now to within 10 feet of you, Griveth. And it sees both of you standing there, and it is going to attack as it strikes out. It lashes out with its tentacles at Griveth. It has reach, so it's striking you from 10 feet. That is going to be a 21 to hit, Griveth.
Can I smack it when it hits me with its tentacle? Because it is its body. It's not a weapon.
I will allow it since you specifically held your action for it to come to strike. So you can go ahead and roll your attack at the same time that it's attacking at you. Because it's lunging forward.
Yeah.
With its whole head, and these tentacles are coming out. So yeah, absolutely make an attack.
Well, thanks. So I'm gonna have you re-roll that.
All right, so that's going to cost 2 domain dice to re-roll that hit. The new roll makes it an 18 to hit.
Still a hit. All right.
It was a valiant effort. So did you hit or miss?
I hit. Do I attack twice or just once?
You have 2 attacks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let you use your full.
Okay.
I treat it as you basically held your turn.
Okay. Okay, that's what I do too. Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead and make your attacks.
Oh, okay. I just hit it once.
Okay. So
So let me roll it.
I'll roll
roll
damage
damage?
while you roll damage.
Sounds good. Only 6 damage.
All right, so that's 6 damage against the Grick Alpha. And I need one more D8. Griveth, you take 25 points of slashing damage as these barbed tentacles lash out. The rest of them lash out at you. You struck one of them, but the other ones lash out and strike you. As it hits you, it swings its tail around and attempts to strike at Thorgarn. A 10 is going to miss as the tail just sort of whips at you, but it's kind of at that moment as you're skidding to a halt, showing up on the scene, Thorgarn. But with you in its grasp with these tentacles, you're not really like grappled by the tentacles, but it allows it, because the tentacles are right next to its face, it does get a bite attack against you, Griveth.
Okay. I have a sentinel. It attacked Thorgarn, right?
Correct.
I have a sentinel attack. I'm gonna attack it.
All right.
That is a hit.
All right.
And-
And it misses with its, as you go to attack with your sentinel ability, it bites where you were and misses you. So,
I did 12 damage that time.
all right. Excellent.
Ah!
And this thing it towers over you. This thing's probably about 12 feet tall as it's leaning in to strike at you guys. And that is both of their turn. Oh, the one hasn't hit Cantriel. Thought I forgot about her. The smaller Grick moves in towards Cantriel. And it's also this one has to actually get in closer to you. As it closes the distance, and it is good lord. The last 3 rolls I have made with this die have been a 3, a 3, and a 4. So its tentacles sort of in that little alcove where you are, Cantriel. It sort of misjudges and it strikes against the wall and the stone around you. Loose stone, wet stone, some moss all come loose, spraying across you as it misses with its tentacle attack. And it is now Talmud's turn. Talmud, you're at the bottom of the stairs, having run there. It is another... you could get there in one full move. You could get to where Thorgarn and Griveth are dealing with the big Grick, or you could veer slightly northward and deal with the smaller one that is flanking.
So it looks like the two of them have been focusing on this large one.
Mostly because it's been focusing on them.
Okay.
But yes.
Is that the one that just hit Griveth real solid?
Yes, indeed.
I imagine that was probably pretty obvious.
Oh yeah, it was very loud.
Damage that it dealt to the paladin. So Talmud is going to close with that one. And as he's doing so, he is going to grip Girta tightly and clench his teeth. And his tattoos start to glow as he enters rage, and a spectral dwarf comes out of him. And okay, it's the grumpy uncle. He starts kind of closing the distance, raising Girta. Stupid human can't do his own damn business. Always needing a dwarf to clean up after him. He's gonna swing Girta whenever he gets close.
All right, and you were going for the big one, you said.
Correct.
Yep. Go ahead and roll that attack.
All right. That's going to be an 18 on the first.
That is going to connect solidly.
Yeah. You can be a big Grick, too. The second one's a 22.
Yep.
Yes. All right. So the first one is going to be 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
All right.
Oh my god. The second one is max damage, 18 points of bludgeoning. Papa gonna knock you out.
All right. You effectively... Wow. You dealt... what, like 35 points of damage?
Yeah, it was one shy of max.
Yeah, this you get these 2 solid strikes on this thing. And you can see on its big serpentine body as large bruises form. It has this sort of part of it is this dark green, and its belly, in this segmented serpent belly, is this sort of ochre color, and you immediately see as these large bruises are forming under its skin, and it sort of reels up, and the tentacles are sort of flaring as it is not happy at what you just did. Anything else?
Yeah, he spits on the ground, kind of laughing. That's how it's done. Stick with it.
All right. That was Talmud. Griveth. Griveth is muted. Welcome back, Scotty.
Well, I did it again. Okay, here we go. You guys wouldn't believe what I just said. It was amazing. Sorry you all missed it. It was the best role playing I've done ever. And so sorry you missed it.
I don't believe that because that was only like 5 seconds.
I say, damn dwarf, and like, what color is the goo that flows in this thing's veins?
Nobody's actually drawn blood on it yet,
okay.
but it's very dark, these welts that Gerta has formed on it.
Was it so rubbery?
Yeah, it's very much, it has this sort of rubbery, slick texture, as everything here in the Glitterheim is moist from the water that flows through the hill. Yes.
Nobody likes that word, Jake.
It is moist.
All right. So I'm like, damn, dwarf, I got to do some catching up. So I swing Bradford's Honor towards this beastie. And I miss the first with the first attack. And I hit with the second.
Got all those domain dice to use.
What'd you get on this?
I'm actually going to use an inspiration and re-roll my second die.
Wait, I thought you said you hit the second one.
I'm moving on first. I'm sorry.
Okay. What'd you hit, or what'd you get on the second one?
Second one was a 20.
Oh yeah.
And the re-roll was an 18. Does that hit?
That hits.
Okay. So let me get this going. That's 26 points of damage.
Griveth, what does it look like when you kill the Grick Alpha? And you get to decide what color its blood is.
Okay. So it has that little beak, it's snapping, and I'm, smacking the flabby tentacles aside. I land, I land a solid blow right through where the beak opening, and I kind of pull the thing and yank it to the side, and this yellow goo just sprays out like a hose and just covers Talmud in this yellow goo. So
that's
I say,
awesome.
That's how we do it, Talmud. So Cantriel is like still being harassed by this thing, right?
There's one that's within about 30 feet of you guys, one of the smaller ones. That's sort of to the northwest of the three of you. And then there's one across the chamber that is, at this point, it is about 75, 80 feet away from you guys, because Cantriel's about that far away.
Oh, she's 80 feet away?
Yeah. Quinlan BC dropping another 500 bits for another domain. I just set these down to 35. I moved too quick. As I'll move it back up to here. That's another domain die for you guys. You got to use them faster. They're going to just keep stacking up. Thank you, Quinlan.
Okay, so Griveth is extremely worried about Cantriel. She's got this thing after her. And he's like, we got to kill this, I got to kill this. Like he's fighting off his old tactics from being a soldier. Like, we got to kill this thing. We got to kill the leader, essentially, and then, work our way down. But then, his worry about Cantriel is also driving him. So he wants to he's calling in his mind while he's fighting this thing. He's calling on Eldath to, help protect Cantriel, this person he deeply cares about, and he's desperately calling on aid, and he realizes that she's too far. He can't. Essentially, I was trying to cast Sanctuary on her, but she's too far. I can't I can't cast it. So what I want to do is, as soon as the thing drops, I just want to move, as fast as I can towards Cantriel.
All right. So what's your movement?
30.
So yeah, you'll be able to close 60 of that 80 feet as you go sprinting across, leaving Talmud dripping in this yellow ichor of this thing, and Thorgarn standing there with the other one closing in on them. Griveth just sprints across the chamber, heading to Cantriel's aid. Cantriel, it's your go, and you're kind of trapped in this doorway against this door. You've got this thing pretty much blocking the way
Right.
as it's closed in on you. What are you going to do?
How far away is Griveth again from the?
You see just past as this thing's kind of recovering from where it smacked against the walls and sort of leans back a little bit, and its tentacles are writhing. You see Griveth as the big one falls just turn and begin sprinting towards you. He's about 20 feet away from you.
Perfect. I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave.
Oh, wait a minute. I could cast
You
Sanctuary
used-
that close.
You used both of your attacks that round.
Oh, this is a bonus action.
Oh,
I can cast Sanctuary as a bonus action.
yeah. If you cast Sanctuary at the end of your move,
Uh-huh.
you'd be within 20 feet. So
Okay.
Wait,
Cantriel!
wait a minute. Back up.
Okay.
You can't be within 20 feet.
Oh, I can't.
You use 2 attacks. So you can't use an action to dash.
Oh, I didn't dash. I just moved.
Oh,
Right. So you would be 50
My bad.
feet away.
so
So
you
it's
are 50 feet
further
away.
Okay. Gotcha.
Sorry, I had to retcon that a little bit as I was replaying
Hey, no
the
problem.
the-
I'll shut up now.
murder scene. So I'm not trying to like push you out of range, but does that push you out of range?
It does, yeah.
Okay.
It does push me out of range.
I just want to make sure everybody has their pieces set.
Oh, yeah,
But that does mean he's definitely out of range for what you're planning to do, Cantriel.
Yeah, I'm gonna cast Thunder Wave on this sucker and hopefully hit and get him to move back.
All right, so that's going to be a Constitution saving throw.
A con save, yes, please. Against a what? That's 14.
Let's see what we're looking at here. Okay, so that is going to be a natural 19 on the die.
Try it
So-
again.
Oh, you're going to have me re-roll that?
We got him. Why not?
Absolutely, that's what they're there for. I love it. You guys have been so conservative with them. So you're going to drop down from 36 to 35. Want to make sure we don't lose track of these things. As valuable as they are, these awesome viewers purchasing these for you.
Because they're wonderful.
So I'm going to re-roll that save. Oh, actually, sorry, that's 34 because it costs you 2
Mhm.
domain dice for a re-roll for me. That is now a natural 5 on the die.
Yeah!
So
Okay,
that is
cool.
a failed Constitution saving throw.
Oh, this is lovely. Because now he's going to take 2d8 thunder damage and push 10 feet away from me. And then is going to have, I believe it's disadvantage. Hold on.
I think you knock it back 10 feet.
10 feet, yeah. All right, so, ooh, that's a very nice roll, too. So that's going to be a 13.
All right. And you see that all over its body, because as you just sort of summon this, you just sort of kind of like, and you all hear that thunder echo through the cavern. It actually shakes loose some dust and debris from the ceiling. Cantriel, as you do that, the dust and even stones around you launch forward, slamming into this thing's body. All over its body, you see these welts rise up. And you do see some of them have pierced through as you see some yellow goo, its yellow blood start leaking down it. And it slides backwards 10 feet away from the door, which does kind of open a hole for you that would push you out of attack of opportunity range if you wanted to move out of that area.
Oh, hell yeah. So I'll zip around, avoiding the attack of opportunity zone, and try and get back with the rest of the guys.
So hugging the wall, you kind of move out and down along the wall, and then you want to start moving towards them. So we'll say you can get about 15 feet into the room. So you kind of move out and about 10 feet down along the wall, and then move outward. That covers your full 30 feet. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that does sound good.
Perfect. So Griveth, you see that Cantriel has sort of moved out of this trouble spot and begins moving in your direction. Thorgarn, with the reverberating echoes of thunder and the dust and debris sort of just raining down a little bit around you, you have this Grick that's still kind of closing in on you, that's within about 30 feet just north of you. What would you like to do?
So, I look at the weapon play that, Griveth and Talmud have already done, and, they kind of spoiled my fun and, fighting and pretty much killing the big one before I even had a chance to do anything. So it's kind of a little bit of a dwarven glower, going on. And then I just head off to the one that's closing in. And I'd say 16 to hit on the first one, a 19 to hit on the second attack. I rolled a 7, so it was a 13 to hit on the third one. So I didn't think that was gonna hit. So I'm using a domain die, but my reroll is also a 7. So there's a 13 hit.
It does not.
All right, so
but your other two absolutely do hit.
All right, so no raging, because I was trying to get more swings in. So that is a 12 damage on the first strike and 7 damage on the second with Faithkeeper.
All right. And you see now that between the two weapons, you also raise these welts on its skin, and then with your war pick, you kind of dig a chunk out. There's a spray of yellowish blood that begins leaking down its hide. We are back at the top of the order, and it is both of these Grick's turns. The one that you just struck at is absolutely going to retaliate at you, Thorgarn. As it raises its body, it sort of arcs back, and with its own blood spraying, it lashes, and with a whip sound, these barbed tentacles come in at you. That is a 16 on the die. That's going to be a dirty 20 to hit you.
You can re-roll that.
I have a feeling my monsters are gonna be struggling to hit you guys for a little while.
You want us to use the dice, so sure.
All right. That is now an 18 on the die.
All right. Well,
and I will say, just as a little, because I made sure to set this up. Right there is the die that I just re-rolled. I just remembered I had a dice cam set up for that. Not that you guys doubt me, at least I hope not. So that is now a 22 to hit. So as it strikes you, you are going to take... you take a total of 10 points of slashing damage. And as its barbs from its beak kind of catch into you, it's going to gain a bonus attack with its beak. And that is going to be a 16 on the die for another dirty 20 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
Am I close enough to deflect?
No, you ran the other way.
Okay, right.
It is, yeah, you're like 30 some feet away. At this point, you're almost 50 feet away from this one. That is now 5 points of piercing damage as its beak snaps in at you. And then the other one is going to hurriedly cross the distance towards Cantriel, lunging forward with its body. And as you're kind of doing this sort of almost diagonal move across the cavern, Cantriel, towards Griveth and the others, You can see out of the corner of your eye as this thing lunges towards you. It throws its body forward, and you hear this sort of skittering sound as the tentacles just miss your hitting you, as you just sort of get this, just kind of twist your body just the right way to get out of the way, and you hear that sound of the tentacles just missing you. It is now Talmud's turn. You're about that 20 feet or so away from the one that Thorgarn is dealing with. Fig's head and box body are at your feet. Griveth and Cantriel are about 30 feet the other direction, with the Grick closing in on them.
Okay, so he is going to move to close with the nearest one, which I think is just the one that Thorgarn is on.
Yep.
So he comes running up beside him. Ah, it's finally good to see another dwarf in this party. He's going to raise Gerta again and try to strike at this thing twice.
Absolutely.
The first one, I'm going to reroll it. I'm going to use a domain die.
All right.
Oh my god, but I rolled the same damn thing.
Oh, that's the worst.
So that's an 11.
That does not hit.
I didn't figure. All right, the next attack, however, is a 20. I'll make up for it.
Is that a dirty or a nat?
No, there ain't nothing dirty about that 20.
That's a nat
It's
20.
all natural.
So,
Yep.
as a reminder, natural 20s are automatic max damage. Then you re-roll your damage dice one on top of that.
Okay, cool. So starting with 18 and then another 10. So that's 28 points of damage.
How does Talmud eliminate this smaller Grick?
He's run up beside Thorgarn and given him kind of this this kind of rousing, brotherhood cry. And as he does so, he swings and completely misses this Grick the first time, but then he catches it on the backswing and just like obliterates this thing's beak and skull construction.
Yeah, you absolutely shatter the beak inward in the barbed tentacles, just sort of automatically, reflexively curling in, and they grasp. All four of them grasp at the handle of Gerta, and for a moment, it's just stuck there. And then all of the muscules? All of the muscules in it go limp.
I eats me spinach.
I have not been drinking.
Maybe you should.
I have been. I absolutely have been. All of the muscles in its body just, and it releases its grip on Gerta as you pull it back. Like yourself, Gerta is now coated in this dripping yellow ichor from these things.
He pulls it free. Get it back. Don't worry, darling. We'll get you a bath later. It'll be fine.
And as this one drops to the ground, Griveth, you're still sprinting across the cavern in the direction of Cantriel. You see this other Grick just miss as it lunges towards her. It is now only, at this point, her moving out, it is, we'll say it's about 30 feet away.
Mean that I can reach it. All right. I am going to come up behind it and introduce it to Sir Braffer's honor. So here we go.
Sounds so
Does
cordial.
he get flanking with that one if I'm at the front of it?
I will allow it. So yes, you can roll with advantage.
Oh, shoot. A roll, I might get a crit. Okay. Okay, I hit twice. So that is
Yeah, these smaller ones, you're only trying to beat a 14.
oh yeah, definitely. I got 20 points of damage all day.
So, what does it look like as Griveth closes the distance and cordially introduces this Grick to Sir Bradford and kills it, killing it with kindness?
Killing it with kindness. All right. I'm like, leave my friends alone. And then like jab it into its back, where it finds purchase in the flabby body, the glowing magical sword shearing into the flabby flesh. Then I pull it down the back, and it just rips the back open, and its guts and the worm-like things that are not recognizable to normal people, just as some kind of weird organs inside this thing, just flop out on each side, and the thing just kind of falls right in front of Cantriel. I said, Cantriel, are you okay?
Fine. Thank you.
All right, good. Are there any more around?
No.
Okay.
The last sound is the moist thud as this thing collapses. Just had to slip it in there one more time.
Moist.
As it.
Unless you're talking about a turkey, knock it off.
As it collapses to the ground, and no, you have eliminated all 3 of the Gricks. Looking around, the only sound in that moment is you can hear still a few loose stones from Cantriel's Thunderwave that are sort of occasionally clattering to the ground, and you can hear this wet dripping sound that appears to be coming from Talmud, who is just coated head to toe in this ichor from the Grick Alpha that Griveth slaughtered. But otherwise, you are out of combat.
No, you're hearing dwarven cursing as Thorgarn turns to Talmud and be like, "You couldn't let me kill one of them." I smack him upside the head as I walk over to see what was going on with Fig.
Oh wait, I forgot. Something's wrong. Your doll broke. Your toy broke.
It's
What do we
not
do
a
about
doll.
that?
Hearing that, Cantriel's going to go right over to where Fig is too.
I love it. Griveth is like right on the edge there. One day he's against Fig, one day he's with Fig, the next day he's against Fig.
He's vacillating.
He's very indifferent.
I think there's probably a moment like in the background where Talmud's uncle is kind of like looking around.
Oh, hello, Uncle. You're back again, aren't you?
And then it kind of fades just as he's like turning around and like pointing a finger in V's direction. And then all of a sudden Talmud's like, "Oh, what happened?
Uncle happened.
Which
And he had a grand old time.
which personality was that?
Oh, the uncle.
Warlock.
Okay.
Oh, did I have to end up wearing whatever? Oh.
You know how he gets.
Well, you know what happens when you get in this fever. You just hit stuff and you get covered in gore, and just the way it happens.
And that would be you. Cantriel's going to kneel down and pick up Fig's head.
You now have Fig's head in your possession.
So what's the deal with the box?
Fig's body appears to have, through some reaction to being struck, Fig's head was knocked off and his body sort of collapsed in on himself to where he almost it takes you back to that first meeting of Fig when the gnomes in Blazing Dell were selling that box of scrap and trying to get you to purchase it. And from within the box of scrap emerged Fig. It's very reminiscent of that, though slightly smaller. But it appears, as you look at it, you can see the features that make up Fig's body, the slightly rusty metal and wooden elements. And it has an area, it actually, it's not like an open box, it's basically like a cube. The that's about 2 feet on a side.
How heavy is it? I mean, 2 feet is not 2 feet of metal and wood is not going to be light.
We can leave it here and come back for it.
No.
We're not leaving him behind.
How are we going to carry this thing? We'll take it. We'll take the head.
We need the whole parts of him.
Jake?
If you were to be knocked unconscious,
It's okay with
would you want us to just leave you here?
I mean, the worst scenario, we can just carry the head around and the head can like talk to us.
You do realize that's not how he works.
Do you know how it works?
He's a whole being. How would you like it if we lopped off your head, charmed it, and then it was just this talking head on a stick? Although actually that might be an improvement.
What were you saying, Jeremy?
If it's okay with you, I would like to basically wrap my rope kind of around Fig and strap him to my back. I'm gonna carry him like Chewie out of here.
I was going to suggest the same thing.
I will 100% allow that.
Won't he be like lopsided with that big box on his back?
I mean, it's 2 foot on a side, so comparatively, that's like this. Talmud, I'm gonna say that you're able to do so. You're able to tie the ropes in a way that you can create these sort of. You basically turn Fig's body into this sort of makeshift backpack that sort of rests. Some of the weight is taken off of your back and shoulders by it resting on top of your pack. I will say that whoever is carrying Fig, because Fig is not super duper heavy, it's not like you're not carrying a Warforged per se. But Fig is not light either. He's composed of metal and wood and gears. I'm going to say that whoever is carrying Fig, while you carry Fig, all of your attacks and things like athletics, acrobatics, stuff like that will be done at disadvantage.
So,
I'm not trying to impose too much of a disadvantage because, of course, this is a mechanism for dealing with something. But
no, I'm good with it.
But yeah,
Talmud, we can take turns if you so desire.
Cantriel will keep his head in her satchel.
Now, do we know enough about his construction? Are we able to get him back?
Well, maybe if we take a rest at some point and take a closer look, we might be able to figure something out.
I would say everybody that wants to regarding Fig can make a history check.
I will make a check just because I spent a long time talking to him. Maybe, he gave some insight. So that is a 13. Because there is no bonus to the roll.
I saw Jeremy shaking his head. Talmud, were you not rolling? Griveth, Cantriel?
I got a
no
7.
idea. No idea.
Fig is one of the most unique personalities and constructs any of you have ever come across. The closest would be Talmud, Cantriel, and Griveth, maybe able to draw something of a comparison to the Treepo that emerged under the influence of Belloc, but you just don't know enough about him. You do feel that the best thing you could do is exactly what you've done, is just take him with you, because you have learned enough about him to know that he doesn't breathe. He's specifically told you that he spent a number of years submerged underwater. So you know he doesn't eat and sleep and breathe like normal humanoids do. So you have done the best thing you could do. So what I would like to do now, before we determine where you guys are going to head next, is we're just about at that time where we would normally take a break. So we're going to go ahead and we are going to take a 10-minute break, which will allow us to refresh our beverages. Use the restroom if you need to. I'm going to run. For those of you that are, first of all, thank you to everybody who has tuned in tonight. So many of you, new friends and old, showing up in the chat. Thank you to everybody who has subscribed or thrown in the bits to buy these guys domain dice. I love the domain dice. I love that you guys are using that as a way to bless these characters and give them an opportunity to succeed heroically. So we are going to go ahead and take a 10-minute break. While those of you, what I was saying is those of you in the chat, if you stick around, I'm going to run a promo during that time. You'll see you'll see a little more information about shows that are coming up on the channel, as well as you'll see a couple promos from some of the players here in the game as well. So I'd encourage you to stick around and watch that. Please stick around. For 10 minutes from now, we will return with more of the Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury, Episode 6, the Grick and the Dead. All right, we're going to go ahead and take our break now. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is The Intermission. Mini Terrain Domain, or the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, you can do so at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Cult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb of Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportions. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you'd like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or Coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe to one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm V and I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city in a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the mercenary guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut, and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharong Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure Mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure Mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on drivethrurpg.com.
Griveth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Griveth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Griveth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the Cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous roll tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Runehammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Griveth are not heroes. In Griveth it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on DriveThruRPG.com.
And we are back. Thank you, everybody, for sticking around for that 10-minute break while we refreshed our drinks and refreshed our bladders and whatever else we had to do. Hopefully you did the same as well. We've still got at least another hour of gameplay to go through, depending on what happens story-wise here. I gotta see how long before I queue up these 6 drag. Nothing. I didn't say anything about dragons. But no, thank you to everybody who has tuned in tonight. Thank you for all of the bits, the donations, the subscriptions, and a special shout out to Star19, who has dropped a $5 donation, which you guys know what that means. You guys are keeping me on my toes with the upkeep on all of these bits that are coming in, as you are now up to... Whoops, that put you down, not up. Let's see. You are at... Nope. There we go. That donation got you another domain die. You are back up to 31 domain dice as I move all over the place with those. So you guys have just managed to defeat the Grick Alpha and the two little Grick heads, as Jeremy put it in our side chat. Talmud is literally dripping with the yellow blood of the slain Grick Alpha. And Talmud has also tied up the form of Fig that has sort of transformed into this 2-foot cube. And another one, DMG info dropping some bits in there, and with some bits that were dropped earlier that absolutely put you guys into the range of another domain die. Thank you, Gareth, for that. So yeah, you have basically C-3PO Chewbacca style. You are carrying Fig's body strapped to your back with some minor disadvantages to actions for whoever is carrying him. And Cantriel, you are carrying Fig's head in your satchel. So make sure you guys make a note of that, because I sure have.
I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, you have the entirety of this cave back at your disposal. What would you like to do?
So I pull... I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Griveth.
I pull Thorgarn aside, and I say, what do you think about hauling this huge block around with us?
It's not a huge block. It's a person.
It's going to be a problem if you run into something dangerous. This thing doesn't have a soul. It's just a toy.
How do you know whether it has a soul or not?
You have a soul. You and my friends have a soul. I'm concerned about your lives. I'm not concerned about this toy.
It's not a toy. It's a person.
Who is a bit moist at the moment with the everything dripping off of Talmud.
I thought we were past this, Griveth. You are a man of faith. We've had conversations about religion and worthiness, and we are, while we might be flesh and blood, it is not the flesh and blood that makes us house a soul. It is something else. It is something of another place. So how can we make the determination as to what has a soul and what does not?
So what you're telling me is you value this thing over the lives of our friends.
No,
Is Talmud
value
your brother, or is he your cousin?
He's my cousin.
Okay. You value this toy over your cousin.
No, I value them equally. They're friends and family.
Well, he has this thing. He has this big liability strapped to his back.
No, he has my friend strapped to his back that we must
I
save.
think I'm more of a friend to Talmud than you are, because I don't want him to be hampered by this thing.
Talmud, what do you think about that?
Moment. The two of you are being a little bit unreasonable. I'm carrying the damn thing. What do you care? Let's go.
I don't want something to happen to you.
I don't want anything to happen.
Because of this thing, we can come back and get it.
Yeah.
We can leave it here and we'll come back and get it.
It's not a thing. It's not a toy to be left behind.
I swear to you, we will come back and get it.
I don't believe you because, quite frankly, I don't know who you are these days. And I've witnessed this lovely person save a child when everyone else went running and screaming.
A person can't lose their head.
Oh, I think some can. Maybe not literally, but figuratively, definitely.
This conversation was supposed to be with Thorgarn, not the rest of you.
Well, maybe speak a little softly. That might work better next time.
I did get a little loud. Yes, sorry.
You brought my cousin into it when you said that you like him better than I do. So let's just continue on with this mission, and you keep your darned opinions about Fig to yourself.
Well, Thorgarn, if anything happens to these people, I am blaming you. I will never forgive you if something happens to these people. It is your responsibility. Are you willing to accept that responsibility?
I continue walking. I'm ignoring you.
Cantriel is walking right next to Thorgarn at this point.
Where are you guys walking?
Is everybody mad at me?
I don't know yet.
If it makes you feel any better, Griveth, you can walk in front of
I just love you, damn it. Is it too much to just love these people?
So
I gotta get
you do it. Yes.
I gotta get. They gotta turn their backs on me. I'm sorry. I just love you too much.
So,
wait, time out. Is that literally? Is that what Griveth is saying?
Yes.
So trying to talk over Griveth's shouting. Cantriel, what was in that room you found back there?
There was a door.
Sorry, I forgot about that.
There was a little door, but there wasn't much that I got to see before those damn Gricks came for us.
Is it? You think it's worth looking into?
Well, it's a door that was pretty well reinforced, so usually that means yes.
Wait a minute. Sorry. How hurt is everybody?
Oh, now you come to your senses?
I don't have a choice. You all want to carry this huge liability with you. I got to deal with this. So let's just put that aside. How hurt is everybody?
I'm injured quite a bit. You can see that there's a spot where the Grick latched onto my right arm and buried its beak into my shoulder.
Oh, ouch. That looks painful, friend. All right. So I lay out my hand, put out my hand and touch your shoulder, and
out of game, I'm down 15.
We'll let bygones be bygones. So this is kind of his way of showing it. But you heal 10.
Nice.
How bad are you, Talmud?
I don't think Talmud got hit, did he?
I don't
I
think
did not get hit
Nope.
that
Okay,
fight.
cool.
Talmud
but
did
I
not
was
take
at-
any hits.
Not that fight, but I am 40 out of 62 from the
okay.
last time.
I'll heal you two. You 10 too. Are you hurt? You're not hurt, are you, Cantriel?
I'm peachy keen.
Okay. I'm going to cast heal wounds on Thorgarn, or cure wounds. So I'll let you roll it, Ted. That's 1d8 plus 3.
I rolled a 2, which is
Oh.
5, which is exactly what I needed.
Okay, good. I'm going to heal myself too.
And thank you for that, Scotty.
Oh, you're welcome. Very welcome.
Thorgarn might still be, gurring at you for your words.
Yeah, it was kind of a kiss and make up thing, but yeah, there's still a little hurt going on there, but yeah.
Yeah, whenever you first asked if you were hurt, I was going to say, well, spiritually.
My feelings were hurt. You really hurt my feelings.
Well, not physically, but
I'm for a circle chat.
Okay, let us
it
move
hurts
on.
in here.
so just as a reminder, you have available to you, you sort of came in from the north, that cavern sort of dead center to the north. You have the sepulchers in the dwarven tomb off to the west, where Thorgarn and Talmud were previously investigating. There is just sort of south of those stairs leading down from that area. It is a narrow stairway that leads into another area to the south. And then you have the area that the Gricks came from, which is up a 10-foot rise to the north, just east of where you came from. And then there's the iron door.
So, what do you all think? I mean, I would imagine that the monsters are coming from that way. Probably only more monsters that way. But I think the door might hold some promise.
I was going to say, usually whenever someone puts a door in, it's usually to keep something out or in.
Well, things have already come out, so maybe we should try going into something.
That's a good point,
agree.
Cantriel.
Well, do we want to do this with brute force or?
Well, can we examine the door and?
I'm on my way.
Oh, maybe Griveth should give it a try this time. You are, after all, a little bit extra burdened.
Talmud, as you head for the door, I need you to make a dex save. I'm just kidding. I believe that's just about how this campaign started. In
Usually
season 1.
goes.
Yeah, by the time Griveth figures out what Cantriel's trying to ask, Talmud's already on his way to the door.
Yeah, he knows his place.
So, yeah, as you guys kind of head over towards the door, you see what Cantriel saw, this iron door that is very solidly worked in, rivets, and you do see that mark of Durgadin, the blacksmith's mark, on the door, the same mark that was on the sword that Talmud had found previously.
So I walk up and I just kind of run my fingers across the symbol just to kind of touch something that was a mark of a person of legend.
I think in Dwarven, he kind of leans over. This looks promising.
Let's do it. So is the door locked? Is there any obvious things or reasons why we shouldn't just open the door?
So you're examining the door?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead and give me a investigation check.
You mean drop a d20? Because that's all it is. 8.
It's a big metal door.
Right, looks good. Open it.
It does not open.
I think it's locked.
Maybe push a little bit harder before you give up, Thorgarn. And you kind of pass him on the shoulder.
I will do as he says. I will push harder.
All right. Go ahead and give me a strength check. Talmud, were you just sort of encouraging him, or were you pushing him?
Can I use a domain die?
You absolutely can.
I don't know. Could my encouragement count as assisting?
What? That's what I was saying. If you're encouraging him by pushing as well, then you can help.
Sure. Yeah, I'll be a barbarian.
All right. So before you spend that domain die, go ahead and roll that with advantage.
All right. So that is.
I want to hear what your assisting by encouragement is.
I was telling him not to give up so easily, to push harder. And then he kind of like shoves him into the door.
So I take a couple steps and ram my left shoulder into it, and I have a whopping 13.
Boom! As your armor sort of bangs against the door, it is a heavy metallic sound. The door does not budge.
Do you want to maybe try to pull it instead of push it?
I think I did that.
You can, from your efforts so far, you're pretty confident that you are either going to have to try to break this door down or try to unlock it.
Oh. Okay, gentlemen, maybe you take a few steps back. Let me try something else.
Talmud kind of looks at Cantriel like, really?
Ooh, magic.
Let's just see if it helps wiggle things loose, maybe.
Is it more thunderstruck? Is it more thunder?
Yes.
That was amazing. Where did you learn that?
My deep-seated anger.
Well, it was impressive.
Yes, I have lots of fodder lately. It's quite handy.
So I have a quick question for the party. Do any of you speak Celestial?
Cantriel does, apparently.
All right. So as you step forward to begin fiddling with the door, Thorgarn, who apparently hasn't in a while spoken to Father Griffin, excuse me. Yeah, he turns over his shoulder and begins, having a brief one-sided conversation about, how does this human, get divine powers and not understand that flesh and blood is not needed to contain a soul. But it's got to be weird hearing the very melodic sound of celestial speech coming from a dwarf.
Cantriel will look over her shoulder and kind of nod her head like, that's a very good question. All right, so can I try using Thunderclap against the door since it was working some of the stones away using Thunder Wave?
You can certainly try. Before you do that, Thorgarn, as you say this to Father, sorry, what was his name again?
Griffin.
You hear a response. Father Griffin's been mostly silent.
Okay.
Occasionally he gives you sounds that only you can hear.
Mm-hmm.
He just says, "That's dug it in the Black's mark."
Yeah, we figured that part out.
That way. That is the way you must go. Cantriel, make me a wisdom check. Let's go ahead and call it a saving throw.
That's going to be a 17.
You hear the words of Father Griffin. I blame the fact that I've been drinking a little bit.
Father Griffin.
You hear the words of Father Griffin, but you hear them as if you know that they're spoken in Celestial, but you don't hear them so much as words spoken within the space you're in. You hear them as if they're a memory of words that you've heard spoken once before. If that makes sense. It's less that you're hearing it out loud. There's this
Like a
separation.
recalled memory?
Yeah, it's like a recalled memory. But it's a memory you don't remember having. You don't remember the original.
I also don't remember what was the gist of what he said?
Basically what he said was that's the mark of Dorvan the Black. That is the way you must go.
Okay.
And then you're attempting a thunderclap.
Yeah, my cantrip against the door to kind of...
Now, is that an attack roll or does that require...
It's a very good question. Oh, come on. My spellbook thing just timed out. Okay. It is Constitution saving throw.
Oh, Cantriel, wait. Save your magical power. Not realizing that you can just cast these minor spells over and over. Griveth doesn't have any experience with that. So he's like, Cantriel, hold on. I just remembered.
Cantriel, do you hold on?
Bradford's honor.
What was that?
Cantriel, do you hold on when he says hold on?
No, she just goes and does.
Oh.
All right. So, what is your spellcasting modifier?
That is.
Or your spellcasting? What's your spellcasting attribute?
Charisma, I believe.
All right,
Right?
make a charisma check with your spellcasting modifier. A door doesn't have a constitution, so.
All right, so we're gonna make that 12.
You clap your hands together in front of the door, and there's that slightly less impressive than the thunder wave, but still, it's almost a little too much to everybody in this sort of little alcove where the door is. And there's even a bit of a reverberation through the metal of the door. The stone around the frame of the door, a little bit of dust falls, but it seems to have otherwise no effect.
Silly question. Are we able to see hinges? Are we able to see, the way the door is constructed, or is it built within the stone or the other side?
The best you are able to tell is that it appears as though it is a single piece of steel. You had a pretty low investigation check overall.
Yeah.
So beyond that, you're not able to tell a whole lot. Griveth, if you wanted to do your thing.
All right. So yes, I said Bradford's honor has a special ability. Let me show you. And so I kind of hold the sword up, meditate for a second, and just slam into the door.
Where are you aiming?
For the dead center of the door.
So I'm gonna try and get in your way to try to stop you.
Okay.
Because there's a dwarven mark there, and that part should not be destroyed. So
Okay.
if that means I'm getting hit with the attack.
Oh no, you're not getting hit now. It's close. It's like maybe like a hair goes.
Okay, so
a little beard hair goes.
I'll say
down.
I'll say with Thorgarn interfering, roll the attack at disadvantage. That basically, yeah, just roll a disadvantage.
Okay, we'll do. Another D20. There it is. Where's my other D20? Okay, I got a 10 for the lowest.
All right, so remind me, because I can't find it at the moment. Remind me what Bradford's honor, what it does.
Does an automatic crit against objects.
Which would normally be the case, except that Thorgarn sort of interfered and prevented it from directly making contact with the door. But what it does is it actually wedges. As you strike, you don't get your full force on it, but it sort of strikes in the middle, right dead center of this mark of Durgadin.
Ugh.
But you realize that the blade has wedged itself inside a gap, a very subtle gap that was previously unnoticed. This door appears to be made of 2 sheets of steel that are very closely aligned. So that's what though technically a failed attack on the door, you learn a little bit about it. It's in 2 pieces. So the mark of Durgadin is actually naturally split down the middle.
Interesting.
Why did you leap in the way? I almost hit you.
This is a symbol of Durgadin the Black, a very ancient smith. This is not something to just attack. Must be respectful of the place that we're in.
Well, we got to get through the door.
Well, it appears, and I kind of like step out of the way of the the sword is now kind of partially buried in the door. So do we obviously see that there's this separation?
You can all see it now that Bradford's Honor has sort of just created enough. It sort of just slipped into the spot and created enough of a gap that it's visible. Essentially, what you're realizing is if you were to strike again, this is a natural weak spot because it's the point where the 2 pieces of the door meet.
So what if we were to take the sword, kind of align it in the middle and whack on the end with Goethe?
Don't ask me, ask Griveth.
I'm putting that out there too.
So you're all fine with destroying the door?
No, this is not. Yeah, fine. Do it.
Okay. So, Talmud, do you think Goethe could knock Bradford's Honor through the door?
If you want me to attempt it, I certainly will try.
It's a magic sword. It should be fine.
Do you want to just take my scimitar that doesn't have anything special about it and see what happens? And that way, if it gets snapped in 2, it doesn't really matter as much.
It's nigh impossible to snap this sword.
It's your weapon.
Okay.
All right. So I stand back.
All right, Talmud, I want you to make an attack roll to see if you can hit Sir Bradford's Honor.
All right. So he's going to kind of step back. He's going to spit into both of his hands and grab onto Goethe, pick it up, kind of look at Griveth one last time like, you sure? Then he takes like a big, almost like a hammer throw, kind of spins around 360 and then slams the head of it into the pommel.
And before you roll that, or as you roll that, there's another domain die because EverJ, our friend Jason, has just subscribed for 12 months in a row. Subscriptions get you a domain die. What did you get?
A dirty 20.
All right. As you drive Goethe into the pommel of Sir Bradford's Honor, Sir Bradford's Honor slides like a nail being pounded into snow through the gap. The crosspiece of the sword, the crossguard of the sword, connects with the center where the gap is. And the door folds in on the center. As it does so, the gap opens up and Sir Bradford's Honor clatters to the ground, no longer pinched by the door. You now have this opening with about 3 feet on either side, maybe 2.5 feet on either side of a centrally open doorway leading down. actually
That was an amazing blow, Talmud.
yeah, leading
Great
down
job.
a. You can now see it leads down a about 40-foot by 10-foot cavern, or rather hallway, not cavern. This very clearly, to Thorgarn and Talmud, is a dwarven carved tunnel.
Something tells me this is the way we need to be going.
Father Griffin said that this is the way we need to go.
He did.
Who?
Father Griffin?
Before we left?
No, he's right here.
Maybe we should just go ahead and head down these stairs here.
Is there light going on in this area, or is it dark?
So basically, the Glitterheim has thus far been dimly illuminated by bioluminescent lichens. You see none of that beyond this door. You see shadow.
Are there these lichens around us?
They're all along the walls of the caverns, all through the areas you have been.
Can we gather some to kind of act as a torch type of thing?
Yeah, I think all of you except for Griveth can see in the dark.
That's what I was thinking, like get something pulled together for Griveth.
Yeah.
Does Bradford's Honor illuminate any light from being magical, or is it just no?
Nope.
Okay. So I say, Cantriel, please illuminate Bradford's Honor for me. I can't see very well.
The
I don't
best I
have
can
the
do for
blessing
you
of
is
dark sight.
the best I can do for you right now is to get some of this lichen and make sure we have a collection of it for you.
So I'm gonna step across the threshold and just kind of run my hands across the stone walls, and feel the perfection of the dwarven work stone, and kind of be in a place that is clearly this is where dwarves have been for a long time, even if they haven't been here for a while.
Yeah, you're absolutely as you step in and you begin to run your hands along the walls, you feel that sense of you are touching stone that was worked by dwarves hundreds of years ago, and that you might even possibly be the first dwarf to walk this particular hall in over 100 years.
So at that kind of thought, he's gonna take a deep breath, really breathe it in.
Sorry, my reaction was due to the sudden appearance of our patron saint of domain dice, Joey P, also known as Chameleon Fam, who just dropped not one or two, but 4 domain dice in your laps. Thank you, Joey, as always, our patron saint of the domain dice. As I do a little bit of inebriated math, that's 4 domain dice on top of your 34. That puts you guys up to, we'll do this here. You guys are at 38 domain dice. Thank you so much for that. Thorgarn, please continue as you're walking through this hall.
So he's taking a deep breath, and at that moment he comes into all of it, and he's kind of overtaken by the moment, and not hearing any immediate sounds of anything charging in at us. I just kind of lay my weapons down in front of me, and I just begin a dwarven prayer. Just kneel down, close my eyes, and I just tune out.
So this is sort of happening in conjunction with Cantriel, just nearby, able to grab some of the nearby lichens. And Griveth, how do you make use of this bioluminescent lichen?
What what he does is he takes it from her and he starts like putting it like kind of through the straps of different pieces of his like, gear and armor. So it's like he's got these like pieces of like, fungus hanging all over him. This weird. He almost looks like a stone, a statue or rock or something because he's got all this bioluminescent fungus hanging on him.
Well, we're certainly not going to lose sight of you this way.
No, you'll be able to see me anywhere I go. It won't lose me.
It's not that I don't want to. It's just that I can't right now.
I'm sorry. Like Griveth was confused because he doesn't know how magic works. He doesn't know how like arcane magic works. So it's like, well, why don't you just like essentially he just asks his God for it. You know what I'm saying? And like, yes, Eldath and Eldath grants. It's not like he has to study or learn or that kind of thing. So he doesn't. It's all innate for him. So he doesn't understand. It's like because you had it before, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. And you don't understand the whole mechanic of you getting it and losing it, and like he was kind of his feelings were a little bit like he was like, why are you holding it from me? Like he didn't understand.
Truly, if I could, I would. I focused on other things.
And I
He
think
nods,
Talmud,
but he still doesn't understand.
I think Talmud has kind of moved past them, now realizing what lies beyond this door as well, and it's almost the exact same reaction that Thorgarn has just gone through. It's just kind of like a small delay, so it's almost like it's synchronized. He's just like, oh, and he's like touching like the walls. Like this is as he's kind of realizing how long it's been since anyone's been here. He's very much mesmerized.
So I'm guessing by the reactions of, well, the both of you, that this is a good thing.
Oh, what? Come again?
New path, good. Keep moving, yes?
Yes. This is a fantastic place to be, as a matter of fact. This is dwarven worked stone. You are seeing craftsmanship that hasn't been touched in. I shiver to think how long.
Are the spirits of your ancestors near of this place?
My spirits are always near, Griveth.
I mean, of this particular place.
That I'm not sure of.
There are certainly spirits around us, that's for sure.
Let's find out.
I feel a sadness here.
Sad
Perhaps that is what has affected my mood here. There's a sadness. I don't know what it is.
By
Chemical
now,
imbalance.
By now you.
I'm sorry.
By now you have all noticed that about 40 feet in on this cavern, particularly as Thorgarn has moved about halfway down and just sort of knelt in reverence, and Talmud is looking in awe as Griveth moves in with Cantriel with the bioluminescent sort of illuminating this short section. You see that after about 40 feet to the north, a stairway descends about 50 or 60 feet into an area that you can't quite see beyond. So would you like to continue down the stairs?
Well, gentlemen, I certainly trust your judgments in all things dwarven.
So I'll get back to my feet. Not that there's a huge difference between me sitting and me standing, and so cousin, shall we take the lead and invigorate this place with a proper dwarven presence again?
Was that a question directed at Talmud?
It was.
I am so sorry. I thought you were talking to Jake.
No, I said I stood up and I said, "Well, cousin,
Yes.
Is this should we invigorate this place with a proper dwarven presence again?
Well, I mean, we're standing here. Reinvigorate the way.
But I mean,
Is that a clerical thing?
I mean, there haven't been dwarves here in.
At this point, Cantriel's going to just start walking forward.
Well, no, hey, and he kind of like tries to catch up.
I do everything I can to make sure she's not in front of us. Not because it's a she, but because like we need to be first.
It's very much. I very much see a bit of a Gimli and
Legolas.
Legolas. Good lord.
Sounds
You know what
like.
popped into my mind was the meme with the Legolas Lego Legolas, that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just got inside my head. It has nothing to do with
I know what you're talking
drinking. Okay, so, Griveth, Cantriel begins descending, and the doors quickly move to make sure she's not the first one through these halls. Do you follow as well?
Yeah, I'm trying to catch up, and the moss I can see a little bit, but I can't see very well, and like there's all this detritus on the floor I can imagine, and maybe even bones and that kind of thing. So I'm tripping over everything. So like true to Griveth, he's making all this noise, and probably anything that's nearby is being alerted because he's tripping over stuff and banging into the wall, and his armor's clanking. So yeah, that's Griveth.
Typical human.
That's perfect. So, as you all descend, you quickly find yourself emerging into a large octagonal chamber. The floor of this chamber is inlaid with these cracked, dusty blue tiles, and the walls are dressed in polished marble. Large doors of iron-bound oak exit to the northwest and the northeast. So, again, picture that octagon, but in those sort of angled walls to the northwest and northeast are these large doors of iron-bound oak. Flanking the doors, so you have directly in front of you and immediately to the west and to the east, 3 cast bronze statues, almost 10 feet tall. Each one of them depicts an armed dwarf. One in the center, a female dwarf, her hair coming down in braids, held together with these large like metal bits that have the mark of Durgadin on them, and then 2 bearded male dwarves to the west and to the east. They each carry axes and shields. The center statue is armed with 2 axes, and this is the female statue, that are raised up like this. The ceiling rises in a dome almost 30 feet above the floor. As Griveth comes into the room, he kicks an old skull, and it kind of rolls across the floor and clangs against one of these bronze statues, and you hear this dung. But then you
That
hear
was subtle.
Then you hear
Sorry.
dung, dung, dung,
That's probably not good.
dung.
Are those drums in the deep?
No, Talmud and Thorgarn, you would immediately recognize this as the sound of a hammer striking an anvil somewhere in the distance. Give me a perception check, everyone.
$19.
12.
Talmud and Griveth.
22.
12.
Talmud and Cantriel, you can sort of pick out the sound faintly as coming from the east. What would you like to do?
I want to examine the statues. Are there nameplates or any of that kind of stuff on them?
You can absolutely head up to them and check them out. Give me a investigation check.
Kidding me? I don't do this skill. I want to use a domain die because the 4 is not going to give me any information. So that is a 13.
And give me a perception check as well.
Are you kidding me? I will use another domain die because that natural 2 is not going to be worth a damn. Perception is going to be a 9.
These statues are bronze. They're 10 feet tall. They're male and female dwarves. Very fine craftsmanship. Some of the best. Better than any statue you've ever seen in any city. You know that dwarves craft fine statues.
Of course. But no nameplates or any of that kind of stuff.
Nope. I have a weird request.
Yeah.
I have to go away for just a moment. Why don't you guys role play without me? I hate it when this happens.
So,
I'll have to go back and watch this.
Because that went so well last
So
time.
I need you guys to just kind of figure out, talk amongst yourselves what you want to do. Reminder, octagon, statue to the west, statue to the east, statue to the north, holding 2 axes. In between the statues to the either side, to the northwest and northeast, are 2 iron-banded oak doors. And Talmud and Cantriel hear a ringing of an anvil on a hammer. Nope, a hammer on an anvil to the east. I will be back in just a moment.
So Talmud, we have 3 statues, and we saw 3 sarcophagi.
Shh, cousin, shh, listen.
Yes.
Do you hear that?
You hear it too?
What?
Well, I'd know that sound anywhere.
What is it?
It's somebody's smithing. It's a hammer and an anvil.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, they did a ting ting ting. It's a glorious sound.
Repetitive and predictable at this point.
Yeah, it's over this way, and he's kind of gonna head over to the door that kind of leads northeasterly.
Wait, just wait. 1 minute.
We're already in this room. I think that there's a connection between these statues and those crypts that we saw earlier.
Do your folk always have these type of statuary? Like, are they monuments or?
I would imagine so. I mean, the people of legend need to be out and visible so that people can see them. And when they've passed on, that visible statue, that visible token is there to remind others to do legendary deeds, so that their names will carry on in history.
Thorgarn, there could be dwarves here.
No, I doubt there's dwarves here. If that's a smith, that's probably some dirty, nasty orc using our stuff.
What if it's a spirit?
That would be interesting.
A spirit?
It would be a dwarven spirit, no?
Well,
probably. But
stranger things have been known to happen, and stranger things are certainly happening here, at least for me. But
all right, we can't take any of the wealth from those sarcophagi. So
no. But we have their names, and while dwarves are not known for a lot of arcane magic, what if there is some divine magic related to these statues? What if addressing them or naming them, calls them to life, and we could gain information or open doorways.
Divine magic is most certainly not my specialty. Neither is arcane magic.
Certainly not divine for me.
So magic is not your specialty.
Well, I mean, if you're going to call it like it is, in front of everyone.
Your specialty is, for the most part, smacking things with that hammer.
So,
I dare say I do a damn fine job too, sir.
Well, yeah, you stole all my kills.
You truly are family, aren't you?
One of us was just faster, that's all.
I got there first.
Griveth, what were you going to say?
I was going to say that, Talmud, does your cousin see ghosts, or was he knocked too hard in the head at some point?
I would have to say that both are likely true.
Maybe he can talk to this ghost and maybe it'll help us. If it is like divine magic like he thinks. It is in the realm of the spirit that he says that he talks to.
Your guess is as good as mine, Griveth. Probably better, actually.
Maybe you should talk to him since you're related. He's a little upset with me now, I think.
I can't imagine why. And he kind of pats Griveth on the shoulder.
So, yeah, I imagine at this point, like Talmud, most of that ichor is like, dried and flaked off of you, but you still have some of that. Still have like some stuck in your beard and your hair.
Yeah. It's the kind of thing where like every once in a while he's like scraping his fingernails like against like his clothes and his skin, and it's just like flaking off like a bad dandruff commercial.
All right, well, I'm obviously back. And even the chat figured out I had to pee.
You had to go pee.
I had to go. The bathroom was occupied during the break. So, and yes, it's absolutely because I'm on my second big glass like this. So I apologize for that.
No, wait. Hold on. That glass, hold it up one more time. That's wine?
I never said wine. That's cranberry. That's cranberry juice and vodka.
He's like, I don't mess around.
I was gonna say, God damn.
I mean, I normally go through, if I drink on stream a bottle of wine, I'm drinking a bottle of wine. But last time I did that, it turned to vinegar. So I believe that I will have to go back and figure out what the heck you guys are talking about. But I got the gist of it, and it sounds like Griveth is implying that Thorgarn may be able to call upon his ancestor, very much similar to when Griveth implied that Talmud, which actually turned out to be a pretty big benefit when he implied that for Talmud, and it appears that Joey P likes that I'm drinking vodka, so there's another domain die for you guys. Thank you, Joey. So what would you guys like to do in this room with these statues and these doors?
All right, so
real quick, just to fill me in, Talmud and Cantriel, did you tell the others about the hammering?
Yes.
So yeah, once it's drawn to your attention, you guys also would be able to hear that sound coming from the east. Just sort of generally, you can't quite pinpoint it, but somewhere in the eastwardly direction.
So, Thorgarn had, kind of pointed out that there might be a connection between these three statues and the three sarcophagi of note, of honor down below. So we've got Borgal the Old, Garin the Orc Doom, and Numik the Unlucky. So anything that I might have known or seen on those, those crypts that might be, symbology or history that might, pinpoint, if this might be the case, if there is indeed a connection, if I could link a name to a statue.
Why don't you give me?
You're gonna make me roll a check, aren't you?
I'm gonna make you roll a check. I won't make you roll an intelligence check. I'm going to have you roll a wisdom check.
All right.
And because you're tapping in the Father Griffin and your own knowledge of recent discoveries, let's make it a religion check.
So religion with wisdom instead of intelligence? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, we're going to make a wisdom religion check. That is
a 17, sir.
You're not picking up any particular connection between the names you saw and these statues. what you're picking is that these are more generalized dwarven statues. You saw the likenesses that were carved into the sarcophagi, and they don't quite match. If anything, you sort of get the sense that these statues are amalgamations, that whoever the artisan was, they applied attributes from multiple different dwarves to feed into these. And they seem to have chosen the most intimidating features as well.
So I'll point out this information after studying and having a conversation in Celestial over my right shoulder, and I'll point out that this is from so and so, and this is from this person over here, and I'm certain that pointing out these details is kind of boring to those who don't care about dwarven facial structures and specific beard braids and hair length, and I'll go on probably until somebody's like, look, we have other things to do, can we move along?
What would you like to do?
That's all fine and wonderful, but maybe we want to explore the sound coming from over yonder, because I mean, you might meet one of your brethren for all we know.
As I told my cousin, that's highly unlikely. I mean, that might be an orc that we can finally go get some farking orc ears to, actually get some money.
So it's either a family reunion or money in the pocket, one of the two.
Yeah, let's go on then.
If it is an orc that's hammering away on a dwarven anvil, then there certainly is a reckoning that needs to happen, cousin.
Oh, aye.
And I'm sure Uncle Orlick would love to have something to say about it as well.
He has something to say about everything.
He usually does, yes.
So, hoist up all the stuff, and the little legs start, pumping as we begin going off towards the sound of the east.
All right, so you basically have the northeast door then that would move eastwardly. So, Thorgarn, you're going to open that door?
Yes.
All right. As you open the door, you see that as soon as you open the door, you see beyond it nothing but stone wall. Does a 13 or a 15 hit you?
A 13 does not. If I've just opened a door, that means my weapons are not in my hand, or at least not both of them, so then the 15 would hit.
Was anybody immediately next to Talmud?
Talmud or Thorgarn?
Excuse me, Thorgarn. Talmud's looking at me like,
Talmud.
what? What are you trying to do to me? Wait, sorry.
Let's make it
sorry.
Talmud.
This is not an area effect. So, regardless, Thorgarn, all of you see as the statue in the middle, the woman with the two axes raised high above, as Thorgarn opens this door to the east, you hear this, and both axes come down. One of them slams directly behind Thorgarn, cutting you off. The other one strikes Thorgarn, and you take you take 8 points of slashing damage as it cuts into you.
Oh.
What are you going to do?
I feel that my ancestors are attacking me. This is not cool.
As soon as it strikes the statue and raises returns to form and raises the axes above its head. Everybody make a perception check.
14. So the
19.
door
16.
the doorway opens into nothing, essentially.
It's a false door. It opens to a stone wall. Cantriel, what did you get on your check?
19.
Talmud?
17.
Thorgarn?
14.
Thorgarn, you're too distracted by being struck by this axe. But Griveth, Cantriel, and Talmud, as you see this happen and you sort of just reflexively move into a defensive posture, you kind of glance around and you realize that both doors, in front of either door, you can see marks in the floor where giant bronze axes have struck the floor. You had previously overlooked this, but you're sort of keyed up as you see where these axes have struck at Thorgarn. What would you guys like to do?
So, do you guys point this out? Because apparently I missed it.
Yeah, Talmud would say, wait, hold on. These are set to attack both of these doors in the same way. Wait. Talmud's going to get down on the floor, and he's going to try to see if there's a gap underneath of this door that we just opened, if there's any space between the floor and the bottom of the door.
Give me a investigation check. Do so at advantage because of the dwarven construct.
Investigation. Oh, Talmud, buddy. That's going to be 8.
Sorry, you cut out. You're still cut out.
That's an 8.
It's a wall. It's a wall.
I got an 8. I don't know if you guys can hear me at all now.
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us? Okay.
Yes.
Yep.
Reroll.
Sure. Why not?
So,
Domain diet?
Yeah.
Of the 3 doors that were
2.
There's 2 doors.
Yep.
So does the other one have any marring on the ground?
Yes, Griveth, Cantriel, and Talmud notice that both doors have axe marks on the floor in front of them. I would like everybody to give me one more perception check.
Natural 20.
13.
So 21.
Oh my god, that is funny because I got a natural 22.
Wait, you rolled a natural 22?
Oh, I was gonna do the same joke.
Natural 22. What dice are you using, Scott?
No, a 20, not a 22.
What'd you get? What'd you get, Talmud?
I got a 10.
Talmud, you're still looking at this like false door. You're at this point, you're like laying flat on the ground with your head. Yeah, exactly. Like you're trying to look under a doorway and all you're seeing is stone. Meanwhile, Thorgarn, perhaps just because you just nearly missed getting cleaved in two, you took a bit of damage from this bronze axe that strapped down. Or slammed down, not strapped down. At the same time that Griveth... Cantriel, what was your investigation check? Or perception check?
13.
Sorry. Okay, so Griveth and Thorgarn. Griveth, you sort of see it at the same time that Thorgarn does. As you're looking around, you see that scanning around the room, you can see that there is just visible behind the statue on the east wall. You can see that there's kind of between that north or where you came into the room along that wall, that angled wall, there's a slight gap and the darkness is a little more pronounced and you can just make out what looks to be a passageway hidden behind that statue. These doors seem to be false doors, luring you into the dwarven trap. But Griveth and Thorgarn, you now see the way out of this room.
Say, oh, I saw what they did there, and I kind of point out the thing, probably at the same time that Griveth does the same thing.
Do you see it? You see it, Thorgarn?
Oh, I do. I start clambering over to behind the statue.
And there's
We
enough
didn't see it earlier.
there's enough room that all of you are able to kind of squeeze through. Who's the first one through?
Me.
Thorgarn, bleeding just a little bit from the wound from the bronze statue. You clamber over the plinth that this statue is mounted on. You squeeze through into what you see is about a 15 or 20 foot stairway leading up. You begin to ascend the stairway toward a door. And as you place your foot on the stairs, you hear in Dwarvish, "Alert! Alert! Intruders approach!" And that is where we are going to end tonight's session. Oh, man. I got to tell you guys, I will absolutely be going back and figuring out what the heck you guys said while I was gone. But
I gave you the sum up.
No, mostly just because I want to see what I missed. Because just like last time that happened, ironically, that's only ever happened in this game. But last time there was a storm brewing and I had to check on to see if a tree had fallen on my house.
No,
This time I just had to pee.
I thought it was some random person came knocking at your door.
I thought so, but it turned out that it was just the storm and a branch had fallen. So, whoa, what do we got here? Joey P has just subscribed, so we're going to go ahead before we go and we're going to throw you. That is a 3-month subscription from the one and only Chameleon fam, the Domain Dice patron. Thank you, sir. We greatly appreciate that. Absolutely love your patronage. So I mentioned this once before when you guys decided to go around the mountain, that you bypassed an entire level. Once again, you guys have bypassed an entire level through your choices. But there is so much going on. It makes it interesting to prepare for these kind of games because there's so many choices. I don't know which way you're going to go. A large part of this was dealing with the absence of Meg due to sickness. Meg, please use your time to get better.
Rest up. We miss you.
And we'll see what happens with the sort of transformed and beheaded Fig, who is now being sort of C3PO Chewbacca carried by Talmud. These adventurers have discovered a way into the further depths of Durgadin the Black's sanctuary at Kundrakar. And they have just made their way into another section with an alarm being sounded as they begin to move through. So, before I say we'll be back next week, remind me, V, I know you've got a con coming up and you're going to be gone. Is it next week or the following week?
No, I'm going to be at
2
PAX East at the very end of March. Where
that's what, 2 weeks away yet?
It's 2 weeks away.
Okay.
So I will not be available that Thursday.
So we are either, it's really going to depend on where we end up at the end of that session. Prior to that, we'll determine whether we try to drive on with Cantriel sort of on autopilot. I can't exactly behead and transform Cantriel. She's not a construct. But we've built in a couple of options for when this happens and we can't move the story forward, one of which is a side quest adventure, one of which is available on YouTube right now in Scotty's absence. The others proceeded on an alternate reality version of the Forge of Fury, as well as there's the amazing material that I instantly fell in love with last week from Gareth, the DMG.info, and Scotty, the DMsCraft. Also known as Quest Givers. Stay tuned to Mini Terrain Domain for more of that content. Whether we run it as a one-shot because of the dealing with the player absence, or later this year, I'm really hoping to run a regular campaign or mini campaign in that setting. I didn't know what to expect when I looked at it, but I absolutely fell in love with what I saw in Death and Taxes. So much so that I want to kind of, I've already printed everything up, and it's actually all right here in this binder. So definitely be staying tuned for that. Head over to Quest Givers. Scotty, I think you have the ability. I don't know if you're in the chat, Gareth, or if you're there. I'll have to give you the permission. We'll get a link in there, a link down below for Quest Givers. Thank you. The all-stars of this game tonight are the audience. You, the audience. So many of you, we've said this from the beginning. There's something magical that happens on Thursday nights with this campaign. This legitimately started as what we thought was going to be roughly at least myself, I thought it was going to be a 5-episode arc with myself and Scotty, Megan, and Jeremy and V. It turned into a 12-episode season 1 mini campaign that has turned into an ongoing campaign that's proposed or rather presented seasonally. We are honored to have Ted join us from Nerdarchy with the second campaign. Ted and I have been playing together for over a year over on the Nerdarchy channel in a monthly RPG Crate sponsored game that V is also has joined that campaign recently. But there, like I said from the beginning, there's just something magical that happened with you, the audience. People like Joey P and Starin and Everjay and Quinny and BC and so many others. Infinite Roleplay, our friend Nelson, author of the incredible Saturday morning cartoon RPG, and actually one of the first people to ever kill me in an online game, my Paladin Refulgence against the Ice King so many years ago.
So he got Jake's too? Yep,
absolutely. So I just want to give an extra special shout out to everybody in the chat tonight. We would, whether you were here or not, we would play this game with the same level that we play at. But you guys all add so much to the experience. You're really, this game and people like Joey and others are the reason why Domain Dice existed. Because you just started saying, hey, here's some bits. And I wanted it to mean something. And we talked about it in chat. We came up with the Domain Dice, and I use Domain Dice in every game. We have Domain Dragons in All That Glitters, and we have Domain Devils in the Tomb of Annihilation on Sunday nights. But there's just this game. It's this magic. I love all of my games, whether I'm a player or a DM. But Thursday nights always hold a special place in my heart for the Dawnbringers. I'm so thankful to Scotty, to Megan, to V, to Ted, and to Jeremy for being a part of this campaign. I love Dungeons and Dragons. I love role-playing games. It's why we do what we do. And it just means so much that you all are getting something out of it as well. And I know you, the players, are getting something out of it. Because you keep coming back week after week, even when we have minor interruptions. So with that, I do want to give each of you a chance. I know you can type in their names. You can type in any one of these players' names and get their information, where you can follow them. You can type in their character name and learn about their characters. You can type in my name and learn a little bit about where you can find me. But I'm going to take a moment now and just give each of these players a chance to say whatever they want to say, plug what they want to plug before we head out of here. So I'm going to throw it over to Scotty.
Oh, hey guys. Thanks again for joining us. Yeah, sorry I had a couple weeks off there. I was at Mace West, which is in Asheville, North Carolina. My daughter lives there, so she actually works at the Biltmore, which is the Vanderbilt house. So she's the head pastry chef there. So amazing. She always makes me amazing snacks.
Actually, I
But
think if you Googled the Biltmore, there's some relatively recent news about some pretty awesome stuff that your daughter has done, correct?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And she builds like an amazing gingerbread house every year, and that kind of thing. So her own gingerbread terrain. And she's a DM in her own right, so that's really cool. And I
Very
make
cool.
her terrain and stuff like that. We paint and all that. But yeah, I got to go to Mace West, so that was a lot of fun. I didn't actually run a game with terrain this time because I was kind of short on time. What I did was I did little short movies that I ran on a big screen TV behind me, and they had like the music for each scene and a little bit of animation that just kind of looped. And it was really an interesting experience. I've never done that before, and it really worked out well. It added a certain mood to it and everything. It was pretty cool. So I did that, and then yeah, that's why I was gone for a few weeks because I went to that and then I visited my daughter. But I'm glad to be back to the game. It's so much fun. It's just so easy to fall back in this game. The characters are so great, and I just love interacting with everybody. And it's so good to have Ted here. And I wish Megan could have made it, but hey, we all get sick, so that happens.
It
And
happens.
hey, I got to have some fun role playing at her, kind of at her expense, but we'll work that out next time. So yeah, a lot of fun. And I'm DM Scotty, so I do the DM's Craft. I do crafting. Started this whole crafting craziness, and then I also have quest givers, which I'm doing with DMG Info with Gareth at DMG Info, and we're writing quests. We're on our 5th module of a 12 module series. I'm just loving these modules. We've gotten great reviews on them. People seem to really enjoy them. So, and Jake, it was really fun to watch you run the the death and taxes. Just a fun module. And so, yeah, that's it about me. So I'm gonna pass it over to the next person. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely, absolutely loved the Death and Taxes. I do want to give a quick shout out of all the people I mentioned to Brian Marshall, who just showed up in the chat. I don't know how long you've been here, Brian, but I always shout out Brian when I see him because Brian was one of my first players in my first ever online game. That is, you can watch it on youtube.com/mini terrain domain. It is Prey, Prey, for Smiley Bob, a adapted 4th edition game to 5th edition, written by the immeasurably illustrious Chris Perkins. And yeah, it was just an honor being able to work with Brian because I think it was one of his first games as well. And I got to hang out with him on a chat for a while and help him build his character. And then he was one of my first ever players, so he always holds a special place in my heart for that reason. So let's move on to Mr. Nerdarchist Ted.
Hello, everybody. So a few minutes ago, Jake, you had said, you're so thankful to have all of us here. Well, I mean, we wouldn't be here if it weren't for you running this game. So I'm gonna say this that it's coming from everybody, but I'm just voicing it. We're thankful for you to put this group together and to run this game, every week. Uh, for me, playing is such a stress reliever, and like everybody else here, I love D&D. It's a great asset, to our lives. And the whole point of me being here was because all I was doing was running with a little bit of playing here and there, and I really being a player is that much more freeing because I don't have to worry about preparing material and making sure that everybody's having fun and whatnot. I get to just show up, role play, roll dice, and have a blast. And you reached out and offered to me, hey, do you want to join a game? So I'm super thankful to be a part of this. As Jake said, I am Nerdarchist Ted. If you want to hear about our opinions, homebrews, and stuff that you can drop right into your game, you can watch us over on YouTube. Just look for Nerdarchy. We're pretty easy to find. There's a lot of videos, so feel free to dive into whatever kind of content that you want. We've also got the website over at nerdarchy.com where there's all kinds of interesting nerdy stuff over there as well.
Yeah, and you definitely want to check out those RPG Crate games with Ted DMing, myself playing, V as well as Megan and Asa. We recently lost a player, but he's always with us. Mike will always be with us whenever dice are rolled poorly. But I also started recently producing those streams as well. Taking the workload off of Ted's computer.
Well, I've figured out what's going on and why it's happened, but I do appreciate you offering step up, and I still I know what the problem is. It's not something I can easily fix at this moment.
No, and I've said it before. I love producing. I think it's what I was born to do. So definitely head over and check those games out when they happen once a month. Ted, myself, Nerdarchy, myself, and V promote those games on our Twitters whenever they do happen. So let's move over to Jeremy.
That is me. Hello, everybody. I am Jeremy. I have the YouTube channel, the Erasmus Expeditions. I do a lot of live plays over there. Matter of fact, last week I killed somebody, a character, of course, and it was awful, but it was also kind of awesome at the same time. It was a very good character death. That campaign has
real quick as an aside, because in that event, I prevented 2 other possible character deaths in a double natural 20 disadvantage roll that I posted a photograph to Twitter, and it is one of the most retweeted and liked photos I have ever posted on Twitter. It's still,
awesome.
What is that, like a week or 2 later, it's still getting retweets and likes, and it's just a picture of 2 20s on dice, which blows me away. But that was one of the most epic moments, so I just wanted to footnote that in. Sorry.
It was it was fantastic, and it was a good character death. Dying by being crushed by an airship is a good way to go out, especially when you can save the whole rest of your party in doing so. So yeah, I have a lot of live plays over on the channel. I also do a couple of videos about crafting, and then I have a series of videos where I talk about RPGs with various guests, ones of which Jake has been. And next Friday, my guest will actually be none other than DM Scotty. He's going to come on, and we're going to talk about tangible tools for your RPGs. So I'm super excited to do that. And I am also 1/3 of a podcast, also to be found on YouTube, called The Dudes of Yore, with my friends Jeff Doty and Chad Nick, where we talk about RPGs of all kinds of different facets. So go check that stuff out. If you like it, drop a sub, drop a like. And yeah, man, like this game, I love every game that I get to play and run in. And it's always for different reasons. But this game, every time I leave here, my cheeks hurt and my ribs hurt, and I just leave in such a fantastic mood. It doesn't matter kind of how I end up coming into the game. I always leave with a smile on my face. And that's because, in large part, dealing with interacting with the audience and stuff, very, very active in this game, but also because the other players in this game and Jake, you running the game, is always it's magic.
Well,
So
thank
thanks.
you. And it is definitely, keep an eye out for when I post, and as well as Jeremy, as inexplicably Erasmus 14, I believe, is his Twitter handle.
It is, yes.
But it's weird that there's 13 other Erasmuses out there, but whatever. Keep an eye out
Especially
for
with the
when
misspelling, yeah.
when we post the when those games happen, because it is an amazing game in a homebrew world by Jeremy that I love playing. Doty, one of the Dudes of Yore, is a player in that, as well as the incredible Jarl DM Lloyd, and the aforementioned Check for Traps Alan Holloway is going to be joining as well. I'm leaving somebody out. Who am I leaving out?
Austin
Doesn't have much of a social media presence, but he's an incredible role player. as well.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
just honored to play in that campaign every month with such powerhouse. It's pure role play, just incredibleness.
Yeah, there's some
That's
heavy
all I can
stuff that
say.
goes on in that game.
And I'm still waiting to be DM'd by V. But let's pop up to V, our resident Cantriel. She's Cantriel to me in every game stream. I invariably will call her Cantriel at least once in every other stream. But V, tell us what you got going on. V, you're muted.
Still muted? Oh no.
Yeah, pulled a Scotty.
I pulled a Scotty.
Or a Mike.
Anyways, like I was saying before, I'm V. I'm the Crafting Muse. I have a channel over on YouTube where I show you how to make terrain, paint minis, game accessories, all that loveliness. Also very active over on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook as well. I usually do a craft tutorial every other Friday, and every Wednesday I do a live stream where I show you how I paint the minis that I have in my collection that I need to get done. And as Jake already mentioned, in a couple weeks, I'm actually going to be going to PAX East. I'm going to be on one of the panels called Am I Playing a Role? And that's at 10 o'clock Friday morning in the Bumblebee Theater. I would absolutely love it if you're going to stop by, give it a look, and make sure you say hi afterwards. And then I'll be bopping around PAX East for the rest of the weekend. And yeah, the Crafting Muse die are coming with me because I still have some of those left. So if you want those exclusive dice, make sure you find me there. But I absolutely adore this game. My Thursday nights, I get ridiculously giddy for them each and every week. I cannot wait to jump in and just have fun and get into trouble with Jeremy and what? And just end up, ending the night with a big smile and laughing the whole time. So I absolutely adore our community interaction here in the chat and what we have going on here. It is truly, truly magical. So thank you everyone for coming out tonight and sticking with us and watching, and for all the wonderful little bits and domain dies and all those fantastic things. And oh, I can't believe I have to wait another week for this to happen.
Well, once again, real quick, I just want to throw this out there. I have been wearing my, even though I'm a DM, I've been wearing my cleric shirt from, that was sent to me by Mr. Tarask, available on his store. Link is in the chat here on Twitch. Check it out. Check out Mr. Tarask's channel. Great content. And I think he has links to his store as well, where he has a lot of different shirts for different classes available. Absolutely check that out. Check out everybody here. You can either type their name in the chat and get their information, or on YouTube when this goes up in a couple days, down in the information bar, you will see everybody's links. Be sure to follow all of these amazing people. You will not regret it. I guarantee that. So, we're going to head out of here tonight, but we will be sure to pick this back up again next Thursday, and we hope you will join us as well. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to end the stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it along with me if you want, and I hope you do.